This increasingly strange world of ours seems to have given birth to a new country. A new country with a new leader, perhaps, or perhaps not. Assuming Raz Simone has indeed taken control of the Capitol Hill Autonomous Zone, or CHAZ, as everyone is calling it, in Seattle, all he lacks, in my humble opinion, to fully unite his new nation under one cause and solidify his rule is a new religion. I suggest Floydism. I leave the details to him and his appointed priests and acolytes, but they should be pretty obvious to any reasoning mind after only a few minutes or even seconds of consideration. The opinions of CHAZ and its knockoffs, unsurprisingly, have largely fallen on either side of the wearying political divide in America, and probably most other countries across the globe at this point. Evil and counterproductive anarchy if you're conservative, a utopian wonderland free from white supremacist policing if you're a liberal. I'm not terribly interested in the right or wrong or the good or evil of CHAZ. I honestly don't care who wins that debate. What I'm interested in is the opportunity it affords the rest of us who simply want the unending assault on Western civilization to reach some kind of definitive end at some point here. Those of us who have had enough. Those of us who recognize the positive influence innovation on the part of people of European descent has had on the rest of the world. Those of us who might even see these advancements as, dare I say it, progressive and empowering achievements, and who, perhaps most importantly, would like to see this liberating trend continue into the foreseeable future. Far from being the racist, sexist, and oppressive force they are routinely claimed to be, Western civilization and its denizens have been the arguable savior of humanity. Or so the near ubiquitous adoption of their creations would indicate, for those who think I'm the only one who feels this way about them. The entire world seems to be on board with their benefits, so I don't think it's a terribly controversial conclusion to draw here. People of nearly every race, ethnicity, or persuasion if you prefer, if those other terms trigger you, want more white innovation, and the places such societal improvements have arisen most frequently and to a veritable totality to date are nations with white majorities. Their preservation seems to be a prerequisite because we have very few historical examples of electricity or computers or the internet or airplanes or automobiles or skyscrapers or whatever being developed in nations with white minorities. There are almost none, in fact. Okay. With that rambling preamble aside, let's get back to the question of CHAZ and the opportunity I believe it offers us. We should expand CHAZ to encompass all of Washington state, actually. And maybe I should give you a minute or two to get up off the floor and or try to contain the urge to jam a fist through your monitor. Yes, I am serious here. I started off a few days ago joking about it on Gab, but although I don't expect this thought experiment to gain genuine traction in the real world, I would appreciate it greatly if all three of the viewers YouTube will allow to receive notice of this video put some sincere thought into the idea. First of all, it might need a new name if it grows beyond the Capitol Hill area. Might I suggest Wakanda? See what I did there? Next, not every existing Washington state resident will want to live under the reign of King Raz, or whoever might depose him shortly here. So probably the most important resulting impact or consideration is how to handle all the people who understandably want to GTFO, or who might get evicted by the territory's new highly intolerant communist overlords, let's say, if they decide to stay. We're going to have to generously reimburse them for loss of possessions and property, and assist them in resettling elsewhere. There will be similar sticky situations that develop as a consequence of CHAZ's expansion into Wakanda, such as the potential for global powers like China to annex it. We may very well be stuck with the onus of defending it militarily from competing political interests out there, but let's not bog things down in this video by trying to imagine and remedy all of the possible and, well, likely issues it will generate. Because what we're really interested in here, or at least what I'm interested, and I hope you're interested in, is how CHAZ cum Wakanda benefits those of us looking for the orchestrated, highly purposeful chaos in white Western nations to experience a much-needed, refreshing termination. What will be wrapped up in and intrinsic to the Wakanda deal or pact or treaty that allows its existence and continuation is the agreement that protest and rioting against supposed, quote, white male oppression and tyranny, unquote, is now completely illegitimate in the remaining 49 states of America. Yes, that includes verbal or written protest, or race and gender study classes in the academies, which willfully ignore the aforementioned progressive benefits of Western innovation and strictly demonize white people or the manufactured bogus analog of whiteness. And no, it does not include other common grievances which don't involve race hustling, such as marijuana legalization, healthcare for all, abortion debates, and so on. And no masking complaints against, quote, white patriarchy, unquote, or whatever, as these other common grievances will not be missed or tolerated. The subterfuge will be recognized quickly and dealt with immediately. Antifa and Black Lives Matter types, for lack of a more succinct way to describe the usual suspects who are participating in the present farcical insurrection, get a much larger autonomous zone in which they can set up whatever political and economic system their little hearts desire, free from supposed white supremacy. It's theirs now to do with as they wish. And we will, as mentioned, even ensure its persistence with military might if necessary, no matter what degenerate conditions develop within its confines. We will not intervene, because that would be oppression and white supremacy, right? The rest of us, however, now get to deport any feminist or gay or trans or black or Latinx person or whatever supposedly exploited minority still complaining about their pretend oppression at the hands of white people. Sorry, that's over now in the new age where Wakanda exists. Because these people now have a very accessible area of the world, a free country even, a country free of white influence and tyranny, to go to where all their lovely hopes and dreams of equality and social justice can be realized. For lack of a better term, we'll call this new political entity a reverse ethno-state. We'll even provide the transportation to the border free of charge. And CHAZ or whatever governing body cannot refuse them because that is a violation of the deal that will be struck for the creation and the continuation of Wakanda, a nation free from the boogeymen of white supremacy and racism and patriarchy and white eviliness and what have you. You will of course be given a choice as a devout opponent of whiteness before deportation. Would you like to stop the nonsense and acknowledge once and for all that other races, especially blacks, have the highest quality of life, highest average IQ, highest median household income, etc. in majority white nations as compared to the rest of the world, so therefore they are not oppressed, but are in fact quite blessed to be living in such places? Or would you like to retain the fantasy and move to Wakanda, where you will be free of all the white demons swimming around inside your head? Choose wisely. Now, of course, policy containing this much clear-sighted resolve and common sense will be seen as more white tyranny. But conveniently enough, anyone expressing this circular argumentation on American soil, or within the borders of any other Western nation wishing to sign the CHAZ-Simone Accord, or whatever we end up calling it, can simply be shipped to the utopia of Wakanda, where they truly belong, and where the rest of us wishing to maintain a functioning, innovative society will be free of their inane blather forever. And other nationwide problems might be solved as well with the establishment of Wakanda, such as our overburdened prison system. We are constantly reminded that this too is the fault of white people. It's not that those whose high prison numbers are disproportionate to their percentage of the larger population commit more crimes voluntarily. It's that they are oppressed by white people into doing so. Or so goes the nonsensical woke theory we all get jammed down our throats incessantly. So if Wakandans believe this is true too, then surely they would welcome their unfairly oppressed brothers and sisters with open arms and great merriment once they're freed and transported to their borders. Notice how racial prison numbers are a clear sign of racism, but gender prison numbers, or the fact that 90 to 95% of prisoners are male, is not a clear sign of sexism. In fact, it never gets mentioned. Races commit more crimes due to how cruelly oppressed they are by white people, but men commit more crimes, well, because they're men and all masculinity-ridden and toxic and all that crap. But I digress with what is now, thankfully, a common observation made by many people. Anyway, another intractable societal difficulty meets with swift resolution thanks to our commitment to expanding and protecting the whiteness-free zone of Wakanda. and, more importantly, white innovation and the related and necessary white majorities outside of it. Clearly, the numerable and unforeseen kinks would have to be worked out of what might seem like a satirical plan, but nothing worth accomplishing comes easy. And sorry to all the people who still have the rose-tinted glasses on, but I really don't see a livable future for humanity without the growing hue and cry to abolish whiteness meeting with a swift end here. I could go on, but I'm sure I've already said enough for YouTube to take this video and really my entire channel down. So I will keep it short and look forward to your civil and thoughtful comments. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you in the next upload, probably over on BitChute, after Zarina Suzuki nukes me from her own little autonomous zone here.